Hello and welcome to another episode of It Came From the Page. You might be asking where are the updates for what I've read of the slashers for this week and what I've read for westerns this week. And I'm just going to tell you right now, going to take a little bit of a break from those. Didn't get a lot of reading done this week. So instead, I'm going to do a tag video, and I'm just going to kind of put all of that stuff at the end of the month. So I will do a wrap-up next week at the end of the month for June on the Range and Summer Slasher months, but I probably am not going to do another one of an update video about what I've read. So just live and let live. But instead, I'm going to do a tag, and I'm going to do a tag that I've been meaning to do for a little bit, and I'm going to be quickly running out of time for it to even be remotely relevant. And that is the mid-year freak-out tag. Apparently people do this every year. Of course, this is my first year doing anything on BookTube, so this is my very first one. Hopefully, it's good. I don't know. Hopefully people like this. I don't know. Let's see. So this is a set of 13 questions that are all involving things that you've been reading and things that you want to read in the year of 2022, which is when this is being filmed. So let's just get started. Number one is the best book you've read so far in 2022. Now, I thought a lot about this, right? Because the best overall book I read is probably Clive Barker's Books of Blood, Volume 1. Every single short story in that collection I absolutely loved. The other one that I was kind of thinking about putting on there, Robert R. McCammon's Stinger, which I read, which is one of the best book I've probably read this year. And I'd be interested to maybe reread that in a few years, see if that holds up, or if that was just like an amazing surprise. But I really like that book, so that is my two answers. The best sequel you've read so far in 2022. And that would be 100% the fourth book in the Dark Tower series, which is Stephen King's Wizard and Glass. This is probably actually the best book I've read all year, and what I probably would have put if I didn't see that the next prompt was about sequels. So I was like, well, if the next prompt is specifically revolving around sequels, I might as well put my Dark Tower choice there rather than that. I read the entirety of the Dark Tower series in this first part of the year, and I absolutely loved it, and Wizard and Glass is by far my favorite of the series, even though it's in steep competition with Wastelands and another book which I will speak about later. I absolutely love this. It might actually be my favorite Stephen King book ever. And that's a bit of a surprise to me because I'm not really a Western fantasy guy. I'm a horror guy, and Stephen King is in many ways the king of horror, right? So I was very surprised that this might actually be my favorite King book. Now, I haven't read all of King, so we will see if that changes. But yeah, Wizard and Glass, definitely my best sequel so far. New release you haven't read yet, but want to. 100% Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. I have wanted to read this as soon as I knew it existed and as soon as I knew it was coming out. I have a feeling I will definitely love this book. I really like all of the... when I had Twitter, I really liked the Twitter presence of Gretchen Felker Martin. I've heard her on a few podcasts, and she just seems like a delight, and this seems like a gnarly-ass horror book that I would absolutely love. So that is what I'm going to put there. The most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So this is interesting. I don't follow book releases very often. Like, I'm not a person who, would be like, oh, what's coming out this year, blah, 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 blah. I normally kind of go by my moods, and then if I hear someone talking about something new, I'm like, oh, cool, I'll put that on my list. But I don't, have, a comprehensive, list about things that are coming out this year. So I was thinking, and I was like, I think I really only know about two books that I'm looking forward to and I'm actively anticipating, and that is Alien Inferno's Fall, and then also the sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw, the Stephen Graham Jones story, and I believe that book is coming out this year. Not 100% sure. I know Inferno's Fall is coming out this year, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of the Alien books, and they looks like they're bringing back my sweet babies neomorphs, and they're beautiful. So I want to read about them destroying humans. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Coincidentally, the next prompt, which is my biggest disappointment of the year, and that would be Alien Colony War. And as a whole, it's not a terrible book. I don't think it was a terrible book by any means. I did actually get some enjoyment out of it. The problem is that it is coming off of two absolutely amazing Alien books, which is that 1-2 punch of Alien: The Cold Forge and Aliens into Charybdis, both by Alex White. And those were two of the best Alien books I've ever read, and two Alien books that I recommend everyone to read, even if you don't like the Alien books as a franchise. So Alien Colony War is taking place right after Into Charybdis. It's a lot of the legwork for the plot in Colony War is things that were set up in Into Charybdis, and Colony War is kind of a parody, and it's set in a world where you're like, well, they were kind of like doing good stuff here, and they were kind of plotting together a very cohesive and interesting universe in the Alien franchise to do like a more elaborate expanded universe, and Alien Colony War just is like not good. Not good in that regard. I did actually enjoy the plot from just an action standpoint. I thought the characterizations weren't too bad. There were some moments that I got a little bit emotional during this book, but when compared to what came before, it was a pretty big disappointment, unfortunately. My biggest surprise is the next prompt, and that would be 100% Nightwing by Martin Cruz Smith. I picked this up just thinking that it was going to be a fun book that would be like a nice little animal attacks book that wouldn't make a huge impact on me and would just be something I kind of read and then go back and relax and read something else. But I was blown away by it, and I absolutely love that book a lot. It's one of my other 5-star reads of the year because I just admired it so much. I had such a good time with it. It is such an angry little book that it uses all of the tropes of the animal attacks genre and uses it to tell a very interesting, very angry story, and it connected with me a lot, and this is a book that I will definitely read again. I am interested to read some of Martin Cruz Smith's other works. I have a feeling this might be my favorite of the bunch, because it seems like he wrote like a bunch of like thrillers and stuff like that, and most of those don't interest me as much, but this was like a pure horror. Nightwing by Martin Cruz Smith was absolutely great. Favorite new author, so probably I'm going to have to do Robert R. McCammon because, like I said, Stinger was my very first Robert R. McCammon book, and I absolutely loved it. I love that book so much, and I would be really interested to see if I like or I'm connected to McCammon's other work as strongly. I have a few other McCammon books in my collection. I have They Thirst, and then I have A Boy's Life, and I am interested to read either of those to see if they kind of give me the same admiration that I got reading Stinger. So we will see. We will see. Newest fictional crush. I've seen people just like pass this off. They're like, fictional crushes. I guess if I gotta choose someone, probably Susanna from the Dark Tower series. She loves smartasses. So anyone who can stomach a smartass is okay with me. And Susanna just seems like a lovely person. I will admit, like when she's first introduced in Drawing of the Three, I think it doesn't age well, what King does with her and how he's trying to talk about race and everything he's doing in Drawing of the Three does not age well. But once Susanna is in like Wastelands to the end of the Dark Tower is when I think that character's pretty well fleshed out. And she's a crush. I'm crushing on you, Susanna. Newest favorite character. I'm going to go with Kai from the Lone Star series. He is a ninja in the Old West, killing racists with shurikens. That's the greatest thing ever. That's the greatest character ever written. Can you imagine how much better all of U.S. history would be if Kai was real and just like showed up and just like fa-bam, fa-bam? Like, it would be great. It would be great. All I'm saying is, if I had a time machine and a way to make a fictional character real, I would choose Kai. And I would just send him back to the Old West and just, live in the better world that he would create. Yeah, I love Kai from Lone Star. Big ups to him. Book that made you cry. Another one where I have seen people go like, I never cry. I do not cry. Bro. I'm a little man, baby. I cry all the time. No shame here. I really had some tears going for the end of the Dark Tower series. The very last book, The Dark Tower. Let's just say that's an emotional book, and it's a mean book. Oh man, all your favorites are. You'll see. If you read through the Dark Tower series, I think that a lot of people don't like that ending because it's not very uplifting, let's just say. But I loved it. I had a great time with that entire series, and I felt like the gut punches in that book were earned. I got those emotions going, and I was quite sad. Book that made you happy. This is funny because books don't make me happy most of the time because I'm almost always reading horrific horror books that are pretty depressing. So I was like, well, what book made me happy this year? It's not an emotion I go to for books. I go for entertainment and be like, oh man, old Timmy got eaten by that well monster with 17 eggs. And each egg had a mouth. I went to say legs, but I said eggs, so I had to complete that terrible joke. But I was going through my mind and I was like, oh, you know what? You know what really just brought me joy? Bigfoot, America's #1 monster, which is just this little tiny book all about Bigfoot. And it inspired me to make a video all about Bigfoot, and nobody watched that video, and it seems like people actively hated that video. It's probably the one that has the most dislikes. People don't like me talking about Bigfoot. Whatever, guys. Sorry, Bigfoot makes me happy, and this book made me happy, and that video made me happy as well, and I'm going to link it in the show notes. So if you haven't watched it, you should watch that video. I haven't watched that video since I posted it. Maybe it's disliked because it's terrible. You be the judge. You be the judge. Not me, because I do not have a law degree. Number 12, the most beautiful book you bought so far this year. I don't buy books for beauty, but I did order a book and it came in and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. False Dawn by Chelsea Quinn Yarborough. Look at this. Look at this. It came with the right amount of damage and oldness that actually just makes the cover look more badass. Look at this. Is a wolf. He's riding in a motorcycle. The wolf has got like a gun. And he's got some blood. What's going on, Mr. Wolf? What's going on with you? What is your story? You're beautiful, Mr. Wolf. And I hope you get to where you're going. I haven't read this book yet, but I will after I admire its beauty for another 10 more years. Actually, hopefully I'll probably try to read that this year, but it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book. Number 13, the last one. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Don't tell me what I need to do. I have no requirements. I could read no more books until the end of the year, and if I felt that that was right for me, that would be right for me. It's not, though. I don't need to read any books by the end of the year, but I would like to read a lot of books. So there you go. What do I need to read? Books. Books is what I need to read. I'm not going to tag anyone on this video, but if you haven't done it and you feel like doing it, feel free. Thank you guys, and if you have any great books that you've read this year and you're not a person who does tags, please tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you, and goodbye.